Yield back.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think my colleagues have laid out a pretty comprehensive case as to why the Biden administration has the authority to fix this very border crisis that he created. And how did he create this border crisis? By rescinding President Trump's executive orders. Instead, I want to talk about today the deadly results of Biden's decision to open the border and his decision to not act within his power to reverse this deadly course. Right now, we are witnessing a historic and devastating wave of migrants taking the lives of one innocent American after another. This horrible reality is treated as a conspiracy theory on the left. That's not true. And since President Biden won't protect the victims of migrant crime or even be bothered to say their names, I will use my 5 minutes to speak for the victims of migrant crime. Look at the victims behind me. Their lives were taken from them because of Biden's decision to open our border so that violent criminals and gangs from other countries can terrorize and murder American citizens. These victims of migrant crime cannot speak for themselves, so I will speak for them. And I want to specifically speak on behalf of several victims from my home state of Texas. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to speak on behalf of all of them. Alex Wise Jr. was a 10-year-old boy from Midland. He was walking home from school when an illegal immigrant ran him over with his car and killed Alex. This illegal immigrant who took Alex's life had previously been deported not once, not twice, not thrice, not 4 times, 5 times. And guess what? Under President Biden, he came right back. Another victim is 16-year-old Lisbeth Medina, a high school cheerleader from Edna, Texas. When Lisbeth did not show up to the town's lighted Christmas parade, where she was scheduled to perform with the rest of her cheer squad, her worried mom rushed home and found her daughter stabbed to death. Who killed her? An illegal immigrant. And then there's a story of 11-year-old Maria Gonzalez. Maria was home alone while her father went to work. She told her dad that she was worried because someone was knocking on the door. When her father returned home from work, he found his daughter's body stuffed in a plastic trash bag beneath a bed. She had also been sexually assaulted. Her murderer, an illegal immigrant. Now, as a father of 2 little girls, if I ever saw my children in that state, I'm getting some real Samuel L. Jackson, A Time to Kill vibes right now, and everyone should feel the exact same way. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. Unfortunately, these stories are not isolated incidences. What I've shared with you today is one tragic murder after murder, weaving together a large tapestry of migrant crime. Mr. Holman, thank you for being here, sir. Under President Trump, you served as the acting director of ICE. In your professional opinion, sir, what is the best way to deal with this massive issue of migrant crime?
Get rid of sanctuary. You got to end sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities provide haven for sanctuaries for criminals. Bottom line, period. Sanctuary cities do not protect the immigrant communities. When they release the illegal alien criminal back into the community, the very community in which he lives, he's going to re-victimize the same victim, same witnesses. The immigrant community don't want criminals in their neighborhoods either.
Thank you, sir. Up until this point, President Biden and the White House have been unable to say Lincoln Riley's name to date, or the other victims that I have mentioned here today. But they have no problem with uttering no and comment when it comes to Lincoln Riley's murder. Let me lay this out for everyone. But for Biden's open border, Lincoln Riley would still be a Georgia college student. But for Biden's open border, Alex Wise would still be able to go to middle school. But for Biden's open border, Lisbeth Medina would still be cheering in Edna, Texas this fall. But for Biden's open border, Maria Gonzalez's father would have been able to walk her down the aisle someday instead of finding her stuffed in a trash bag under a bed. And finally, but for Biden's open border, all of the victims behind me would probably still be alive. Tell me I'm wrong. Don't believe what the media is telling you. President Biden's hands aren't tied. He has the power to close the border today like President Trump would do, if you're in office right now, all he has to do is reinstate the policy set forth by President Trump a few years ago. Mr. President, we're waiting. Enough Americans have already died. And with that, I yield back, and thank you, Mr. Homer, for being here, sir. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, gentleman. Yields back.